welcome to White Lion, episode 5 with Julien Moreno.
Hello, guys.
What's up? Introduce yourself.
Hi. Well, hi, guys. My name is Julien Moreno. I'm a black belt under Daniel Perez Jiu-Jitsu here in Kendall, Florida.
Nice. How many years have you been training for?
Now it'll be 16 years. I started in 2007. Actually, I still have I still have a little Naga
16?
sword.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I still have the Naga sword from 2007.
Damn, you should have brought it in.
Yeah.
We could have put it right there.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like proof.
Yeah, proof. That's how long he's been in jiu-jitsu. So I wanted to bring Julien in because he is our head ref at White Lion Promotions, and he's so experienced in the game that I definitely thought that people should know more about you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
definitely. So you've been training since you were a kid, and you just got your black belt this last year.
Yeah, in December. 2022.
Wow, time flies.
I
was there.
Yes, you were there. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
thank you.
I was tearing up.
I think
I have no shame in saying that. As tough as I am, I was because it was just so emotional.
Yeah.
His speech and everything.
Yeah, Danny had really nice words to say. 100%.
Yeah, he's
That's
the
my boy.
best. Shout outs to Danny.
The dog. Yes.
Daniel Perez. Great jiu-jitsu school in Kendall. If you ever want to stop by just to check it out, he always welcomes anybody to come into his school.
100%.
He is a really amazing person. I can say that personally because he is a personal friend of mine's, and he's always opened his doors to me. So
yes, please, if you guys are in the area or visiting, come by and see us. 100%.
Definitely. So let's discuss a little bit of White Lion and how has your journey been through the promotion?
It's been pretty great, I'd say. The first event was great. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's been a few years now. But that first event was really, really
Did you
really
do
good.
my first event? You
I
did,
won,
right?
I won the first
okay.
event.
No, I know. I remember that. I swear.
How to humbly go into that,
I remember that for sure.
Yeah.
I know, but we are 2 years going on 3 in February. I'll be going on 3, legally. Not that I wasn't illegal before. That sounded really bad. I mean, on paper it's February, but my first event was May of 2021. So sometimes I get first and second event mixed up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing
a lot of them already.
event number 12.
Shit,
Event number 12, November 5th, Sunday. Should be fun. We are doing a white belt bracket, 155 and 175 for cash prize. So that should be really exciting. Plus super matches, some kid matches.
Great, yeah. Always a fun night.
It's a special edition. It won't be happening ever again.
One time thing.
No, I mean, it might, but we usually don't do that. So if it does, it probably won't be for 2 or 3 more years, to be honest. Just because we have a lot of championships to be filled.
For sure.
That are vacant. And we're actually adding that to our website. Ethan Birch did 205. He's our new champion. And we're going to give belts out to different weight classes, and that'll be announced soon. So we definitely want to get that going. With that being said, I don't think I'll be doing the white belt bracket for a good solid year or 2. It's a special time this time around just because I'm trying to get everything organized. And I kind of want the white belts to experience what it is to really compete at a stage like that, which they're usually not invited to those types of stages.
Yeah, 100%.
So we want to make it fun for them. We want you guys to come on down and, experience White Lion for sure. And enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good event for sure.
Yeah,
and it's like you said, giving those new guys a kind of way to dip their toes, so to speak, in the water. Is everyone started off as a white belt, right? So we really don't know where they could reach or they could go, just by getting that opportunity. So,
exactly. Did you compete as a white belt?
It's such a long time ago. I hate to say it like that, but
I know.
I definitely, in 2007.
How old were you? So I know that you did kids, and then you went into. Do you go into white or do you go into blue?
Well. So I started when I was 13. That's when I had my first competition. A little bit before that. Yeah, I had actually just turned 12. Because it's 2007. It was about
my son's age.
Yeah. There you go.
It's Lion's age.
So about that. That's exactly when I had my first jiu-jitsu tournament. Wow. So at that point, I was doing kids. because I was still 12
back then too?
No, really, back then the biggest tournament was Naga, actually.
Really?
And came out a lot more frequent than they do now, I guess you could say.
I remember. They're so over you guys in Miami. I just want you to know.
I don't contribute to that, but I can't say if it's true or not, right? Like,
I don't know.
But I try not to contribute to that, right?
Yeah.
They don't come around as often, but that was like the main tournament, I'd say, is definitely Naga. I guess one of the only tournaments, really. We're talking 2007, so
damn,
you know?
I don't know. I wasn't in the scene back then, so
yeah, there weren't many tournaments, if any at all, to compete at, much less for the kids. It was kind of the same 2 or 3, 4 different kids I'd see all the time, I guess, for the first like kind of, I guess, 6 months, 7 months that I was doing jiu-jitsu, because then in April of 2008, I guess at that point I was 13, so there you start competing with the teens. It's totally different experience for sure. So that I'll say I remember. I remember the transition between being like a kid and competing in the teens division.
You were like, oh shit.
Yeah, as I was a big kid.
Okay.
Oh,
so you were?
Speak. Well, I was about like maybe 5'7", 5'6", at the time.
Wow.
I guess. So I was like a tall kid. I grew and kind of stayed there, I guess you could say. As I'm 5'9" now, so I didn't grow much after that.
Oh wow.
But I was the biggest kind of kid.
Yeah, that's when the
ones.
growth spurs comes in, and then it's puberty and all that stuff.
Yeah. So then I did the teens, and that was a big difference because now the kids were a year older than me. For the most part. At 13.
So when you went to teens, do you go into white belt adult, or do they give you your blue belt? How was your experience?
Well, I started doing jiu-jitsu at a real traditional judo school, actually. They did judo, and then they had like grappling on Wednesdays. The sensei, Angel Perez was his name, is a black belt in judo. New grappling and stuff, and so he would teach it to us and whatever. And so we went and competed like that, but it wasn't necessarily in the gi. Like it is now traditionally, so I wasn't like sort of belted at that point. Ironically enough, me getting my blue belt was a little bit of a funny story because of that. Because when I switched schools and moved on to another one, I had already been doing jiu-jitsu for about 3 or 4 years at that point.
Okay.
But I've never done gi.
And what school did you go to?
Carlson Gracie, Miami. Yes.
So when you went to Carlson, it was Buyu, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did Buyu give you white or blue?
I was a white belt. I had,
Sandbagger.
That's what I was.
I want to get down to.
That was my belt.
That's why I'm like, does it happen like that? Does it? I don't know. I guess the change of school is where.
Well,
determines
the most. No, for me it was that I never done traditional jiu-jitsu with the gi on.
Okay.
I had a lot of no gi experience. I started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 13. By the time I got to Buyu's, I was 15. It was my freshman year in high school. So again, I've been doing it for a few years, but never with the gi on. So it wasn't like, well, you're not a blue belt. I mean, you never put a gi on,
Right.
And I respected that myself. I wore a white belt.
No, he's right. Buyu is right.
Yeah, I didn't complain about it. But like I said, getting the blue belt was a funny story. But you start with the belt you have. If you've never done the gi, you're a white belt.
Damn. So what does that make me, a white belt?
No, that's not me to tell.
I don't know. I know. It's a traditional.
Yes.
And again, that's like no, I don't feel that there's a right or a wrong.
Totally.
Just because it depends what school you're in. Obviously, I'm in a MMA school and an MMA masters, and Valverde does definitely he promotes with belts.
Right.
But as his no-gi fighters.
To that point, who's gonna tell
Valverde,
Mr. Daniel Valverde,
that he's wrong?
that I don't think that guy deserves his belt. Well, much, besides he's so respected, right? And
he is so respected.
So who's to say, right? And that's why I mean, personally, at the end, I don't think that.
Right, there's not a right or a wrong.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm telling you, there's not a right or a wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely cool. So I remember you did White Lion 1 as a purple or brown.
I was already a brown belt.
You were already a brown belt.
Mm-hmm. That was the purple and brown bracket. Yeah.
I remember you took everybody out.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good day.
That was a really good day.
That was a good day for me. Yeah, it was an absolute actually. So
yeah, I know you were and then you did another absolute with us the following year where you went up against Adecola.
Mm-hmm.
And did you do one prior to that? No, that was the following year.
I had done the brown and black belt bracket also. I guess that would have been the second event.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you did 1, 2,
and then I guess probably 5 and 6, so 6 or 7.
Messed up, but like I really don't know.
No,
but I could picture it. I could picture it. Just because you were the smallest guy again, you know. So mad props for always doing absolute.
Yeah, you know. Besides obviously the fact that jiu-jitsu is supposed to be effective, right, against bigger people, I don't think that anyone should turn down a challenge. I mean, that's just my opinion. I would never do that for myself. You know, I don't necessarily like the term running from people and not taking matches against people. I don't understand that. I think that the greater the challenge, you know, the bigger the wall and the higher the climb, you know, the better it's going to feel when you get up there. And if you fall, you learn a lot on the way down, and you know, you pick yourself back up and you keep going. But I think the most important thing is challenging yourself.
Yeah, and I always say, and I've said it before, you know, you don't get better in competition by not competing. Yeah. So like you have to, you know, do competitions to get better, because it's just different. Yeah, 100%. You know, so that's awesome. And then from that one, you did, I think, the super fight with Manny Vasquez, or am I missing something in between?
No, yeah, that was basically the next time
So he's competed, done 3 absolutes with us, a super match with a really high level competitor, Manny Vasquez.
Yeah. Top 15.
Top 15 on flow grappling for 145.
135.
135.
He was the Midwest Finishers champion. Correct. The 135 bracket. I competed in that also.
Yeah, and that was a really good match too. With him.
Yeah, he's great. He's super tough, really strong on top, you know.
He looks strong. For 135, he looks super strong.
He's a big dude. He's a professional fighter, you know, on top of that. So
yes, he is an MMA fighter.
Yeah, so of course, you know, knew obviously that pressure was going to come.
Yeah, it's a different type of pressure when you go up against MMA fighters. They just feel very top heavy because that's their game in the cage. So they practice that so much. I don't know what it is. Push-ups, I don't know.
Having to push off the wall and stuff, the cage, you know.
All that stuff, you know.
Yeah, it is different, right?
It is very different. Then when you grapple with somebody who just does jiu-jitsu, they're much more, I think, willing to transition. Opposed to like MMA fighters who do the top heavy, and I say that because I do the same thing.
Right.
Very you know, comfortable up top.
It's partly like style, and then obviously it's the rule set. You know, fighting MMA when you're there in the cage. Yeah. You're probably not gonna want to pull guard. You know, you're probably not gonna want to sit back for a leg lock and things like that. Correct. You're gonna want to stay on top, stay in control of the fight. You know, it's a totally different rule set opposed to like sport jiu-jitsu, right? Like that's a little more pointish, a little bit more meta, I guess you could say. There's more of a game to played there, so to speak.
Okay. Anything else? Do you have any competitions coming up?
No, none on the. I'm trying to get a super fight on this little promotion called White Lion. Would be great if anyone out there.
If anybody wants to compete against Julien and you're watching this, please DM me.
Yeah. Anyone 145, your black belt, come hit
145 black belt. You know, I would love to talk about that subject of like how black belts love to only compete with black belts. You know, I'd like to discuss it because I do matchmake for White Lion, and sometimes I get, well, most of the times, I want to say like 90% of the time the black belts are like, I don't want anybody who's not a black belt. You know, how do you feel about that?
You know, I guess it would sound kind of like contradicting what I just said about taking challenges, right? But I guess it would have to be a challenge, right? It would have to be somebody very noticeable, and it's kind of
high level.
Yeah, you know, and I say that not to say that there aren't brown belts that are ridiculously high level, because there are plenty of them, you know, out there. But definitely when, at least in my first 9 months of being a black belt and now having competed against several black belts at this point, I will say that the pressure and the movement, the game is different. It's I don't know how to explain it. You know, maybe the competitors out there who watch the video will understand and see it, and they'll know. Yeah. There's a big difference between a brown belt and a black belt. Well, we
discussed this the other day, obviously not on the camera, but offline, we had discussed how sometimes when you go into a bracket and it's just open belt, you know, and let's say you go up against a blue belt and you're a black belt, the game's totally different, you know, because there might be running away from you if you're a black belt or the technique is not there. So opposed to like, the experience is not there. Opposed to like dealing with, let's say, a whole black belt bracket.
Yeah.
Every match in there is gonna be technically fire.
For sure.
In my opinion. You know?
Yeah. Like I said, I really do think that it's not even a diss towards the brown belts and to the lower belts, because
no, of course not.
I was a brown belt, you know, and
everybody was there.
Everyone was there. Everyone goes through the belts, you know, and like I was a brown belt trying to find matches, and I would always say I'll fight a black belt, of course, right? And I got turned down plenty of times against black belt, plenty of black belts who didn't want to have a match against me either, you know, and it's like I'm not nobody, so if they're not gonna take a match, it's not even for fear or running. It's just simple. And I guess now as a black belt and looking and like I said, having that experience, I understand why maybe the black belts wouldn't want to have a super fight with me.
Correct.
Like you said, if it's a bracket and it's
like
open tournament,
whoever is up and up, it is what it is. You're up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but on a super fight, that's a little bit more you know specific, and for one time thing, I think I would prefer somebody a black belt.
Especially like on a stage like ours too.
Totally.
You know?
Exactly.
But definitely.
But now that is to say that there are other people out there who do run, and you know what I'm saying, like that happens, you know, and for belt or otherwise, you know, I'll say that personally, I can say that I've never ran from anybody. Right. Anyone can see me when they see me, you know what I mean. But I like I said, I think that I just take challenges, but the game is different.
So you get nervous when you compete?
Oh yeah. You
do?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I feel like everybody gets nervous in their own way. Even though I've met people who are like, nah, I don't get nervous, and I'm like, right? Are you lying?
yeah.
Because regardless how many times I've competed, I still get that like warm butterfly feeling. I think 100%. We just all take on different type of nervousness.
Yeah, people my people that watch this will know, you know, I put my headphones on and I jam out, you know. I'm like moving side to side. I'm kind of bumping, you know, and I really get into the zone, but that's kind of to calm me down to a certain degree.
So you like dance or something?
I don't know dancing.
You're saying you're bumping. I mean, I just put the earphones on. I start listening to really ratchet music to like hype me up.
Right.
You know, I get like
I feel that.
Estella would get, bro, she would laugh at me all the time because I get really angry as my warm up. Like I make all
right, some people do that.
Like I'll start like I just kind of like hype myself up to like get in there.
No, I get that. I well, that's kind of the same thing. I don't get angry per se, but I'm like excited. I'm kind of excited to get out there. It's more like this is what I trained for. You know, this is what the work is. You know, and I think about
we're all different. We're all different, guys.
100%.
I remember. I think it was White Lion 1. I looked at Cade. I don't know if Cade still does this, but he was meditating. Yeah. On the side. And my photographer took a picture of him. I still have it. It's just like with his earphones, like just meditating. And I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, right?
I'm like, because I'm the complete opposite, you know? And I'm like, hey, that might work for him, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and it's like, I could never. I'm like jittery.
So what do you listen to?
Some not necessarily ratchet shit, but it's hip hop. It's definitely hip hop. It's pump up music, you know. It's a lot of Drake, to be honest with you.
Okay.
He's got a lot of good tracks that, you know, are just like the lyrics, you know, are kind of inspirational. You know, I'm a big believer in like.
Are you going to his concert?
Of course I am. I got floor seats to it.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Damn, yes, I'm still waiting to see if like the prices go down. It's ridiculous.
It's
so
crazy.
You paid a couple $1,000.
No, because I got them on the day they dropped. Way the fuck back.
You see, I have to get up on this concert game because I don't. It's like a whole strategy thing to like get tickets, right?
100%. Yeah. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out my girl.
I was gonna say, Michelle.
Shout out my girl. I love you.
Hey Michelle.
Hey, yeah, she's a beast with it. So she's a connoisseur of concerts, and so she's gone to 1 million of them, and she went.
So
on
my niece is like, we need to wait a little longer to see if the Drake tickets drop, but I don't know how that's gonna work.
They should the day of, you know, day before. People are just like, all right, I let it go. I just want to make my money back, I guess, at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So people do that, but a lot of his music, like it's more like I said, like pump up music, you know, motivation, I guess, so to speak. Like I'm a big believer in self affirmation, you know, and like just talking to yourself. And some of his music, you know, specifically, he has a lot of lyrics that are like talking about himself and him coming up and stuff, and that
motivates you.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
100%, it gets me fired up, gets me
So you
ready to go
listen
out
to
there.
Drake while I'm over here listening to Cardi B.
Same level, I guess, just on the opposite ends, you know.
I guess.
but they on the same block.
Getting money and
they on the same block. But yeah, like you said, everyone's got their different thing.
I gotta stop there because she talks about such ratchet stuff that it just hypes me up. But whatever.
Like I said, everyone's got their different thing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you listen to Drake right before.
Yeah.
Are you doing Worlds? I know you want to go into White Lion, but you're doing Worlds no gi?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You know, getting a little up there in age, so focusing on different things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I want to keep the same fire, competing and stuff like that. You know, but you know, I am getting a little older, and life change, like the perspective on life changes. You know, I've been doing jiu-jitsu, like I said, for 16 years, more than half my life, more than the time I've been doing jiu-jitsu is longer than the time I haven't been doing it on earth, you know? And my perspective when I started was to be a UFC fighter, you know, I've had 8 amateur fights. I wanted to be a UFC fighter. Ironically, I did jiu-jitsu to be a UFC fighter, to be a professional, to help the MMA, and you know, that changed off to jiu-jitsu, you know, and now I'm in this position where, you know, maybe I, you know, flex to something else too, you know what I mean? I've been refereeing with the promotion for a little while now, and that's going great, and I love refereeing, period. Been doing it for many years, so
yeah,
I see that there's many doors, you know what I'm saying?
You're so great at it.
Thank you. I really do try.
Your stuff, you know?
I really do try. You know, getting in there, I at least feel the responsibility that I bear while I'm, you know, in the middle, right? Yeah. How many competitors have been, you know, fucked over for bad referees, and
so many,
you know,
so many. But not at my event, just FYI, for all of those haters.
I say, I can't speak on, you know, like how well I am or how good I am. Of course, you know, I just humbly say that I give a shit when I'm in there. I care, and I am definitely not trying to take it away from anyone.
And I think that's definitely what makes us different from everybody else. Yeah, is that we actually care. You know, and I can say the same for myself too. Although I didn't want to turn this on me, but
no, but you're right.
But it's true. Like I look at you and I'm like, you know, Julien is head ref because you could tell when he's up there that like you care, you know, and he's serious about his job, which is the same way that I am too. Yeah. Like I'm like, if you see me, I'm like running around. I look crazy and mad. I swear. I'm like nice in person sometimes.
Sometimes, all the time.
All the time. When I'm not stressed out, you know, it's a big thing running a show.
For sure.
But it's a big thing running the show as a ref too.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been through a lot of crazy scenarios in 11 shows.
Yeah, everything you can think of at this point.
Like, man, in the beginning, like people used to fall off our stage. Oh my god, do you remember that?
I'm one of them. I got 2 videos, fell off twice.
It was literally like, people fall like head first.
Yeah.
You know,
now we're at the beautiful Emmanuel Airtime. Look at that. Look at us.
I know that was a big thing. Hey, you guys, don't let anybody fall off the stage. And I would hire extra people to be around because we would see those like viral videos of people falling off the stage, and we're like, oh my god. I was like, please don't let this happen.
Can't be here,
and like the refs were so good at stopping everything, and there was some that we couldn't.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like Anthony Molina with
Well, with me,
with
that was one of the 2 times
Anthony
that he
Molina
fell off.
with everybody.
With everybody falling off the stage.
I was gonna say, oh no, his combat jiu-jitsu match. What's his name? Oh my god, Jamie. I'm so sorry, Jamie. Nottingham.
Oh yes, yeah.
Nottingham.
There you go. Right? Yeah, almost fell off the.
That was bad too. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's been a crazy ride.
But hey, you know, 12 after going on 12 events now. You know, you've done a great job of cultivating this. You know, specifically. Well, I am but a piece, you know, to this whole kind of machine. But without the conductor, the musicians don't know how to play.
We go through this like every event, by the way. We congratulate each other like this. He's like a big piece to the pie.
You guys let us know.
I always say like there's no White Lion without our team, and that's just not Julien.
Yeah.
But shout outs to Gabe.
For sure.
You know, Gabe's been with me from day one too.
You
know, shout outs. Shout outs to Mikey.
Miami. Yeah.
Mikey also Templan in Miami. Instructor at Templan in Miami. Who else has refed Chino for like a second?
One match. A few matches.
Shout outs to Chino.
A few matches.
And Marcelo Bruzzo, he did a couple of matches as well. Damn, did anybody? We had Drew.
Drew,
Drew
Buffer now.
has done
Shout out to
every job besides maybe ticket sales.
That man is a Swiss Army knife. You need somebody for your event, man.
He does it all.
He'll do it.
He'll DJ.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he'll put on some fire tunes.
He'll dance.
Yeah, he'll entertain, right? Like, he's a hell of a dude.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
He's a ref. He was good at reffing. He did the clock one time. You know, he worked the table. He worked everything, honestly.
Yeah.
He's worked the stage where people don't fall off, and he's grabbed them. So him out of everybody for sure has done every.
Got the most experience, to say the least,
really
right? Yeah, shouts to the boy.
Yeah,
Drew,
for
owner
sure,
of
Drew.
Owner of A&M Jiu-Jitsu.
So if you're in Fort Lauderdale, go check out
Please.
A&M.
For sure.
Drew is amazing, and he owns the school, and he welcomes everybody to his gym.
Sure, great guy.
So
too.
shout outs to A&M.
Yeah,
definitely.
not better than Daniel Perez, but
Daniel and Kendall.
Daniel and Kendall. Daniel Perez
Completely far away.
Daniel Perez Jiu-Jitsu and Kendall, if you're there.
Yes.
Yeah. But you know, that's like, it's funny, like a nice segue, right? Because I think that's something that you've also helped do down here, is to create a sense of community in jiu-jitsu, much like you know, to a smaller degree, but much like the finishers in Pennsylvania and the northeast of them, right? Like, they have their kind of little squad and people that always compete up there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing that's going on down here with you leading the charge. So
really, I never really saw it like that.
Well, I think so. I think that, you know, a lot of more schools know each other now. A lot more people have competed before and competed against each other. And I think that, again, that cultivates a sense of community, right? And I think that we really had that before.
Yeah, maybe not like as, and that was really one of my goals, was to like build up our community locally.
Yeah.
No disrespect to like bigger promotions and stuff, but like I said it, like I think it was last month, I'm like, I'm not in competition with a bigger promotion because their goals are not what my goals are. My goals are to promote locally our local fighters and give them a stage that they don't have, where they don't have to travel and spend a lot of money and stuff like that, you know. So like that was my
production
goal.
value.
Yeah.
With better production value.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of work in that. Sure. You know, so that was always my goal. So, I mean, I think the bigger promotions think more money, bigger people, we're going to fly them out and blah, blah, blah. And like, that's cool because we need that. We need that too. 100%. You know, there's no right or wrong at any promotion, you know. But like I said, that's not what I'm trying to do. If I ever get to the point where I could fly somebody down, like, it's definitely going to be competing against somebody in Miami. Yeah. You know, like, you're going to come down for one of our guys.
Right. You're going to be fighting in our hometown. Totally.
Yeah. And look, like Manny Vasquez came down. You know, we've had a lot of people fly down to Miami. For sure. I had Kieran come down too. He competed for us. Yeah. You know, and we had people from Las Vegas, California, 10 Planet. They came up. We had this guy from New York. He came down with his buddies. Yeah. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But like we had a guy from Argentina come down. Like, people have came down on their own. So like, I get so excited because we always put them up against our Miami guys. You know, I always want them to get like fresh meat is what I call it.
Yeah. You know, but like when I went up to when I went up to Midwest Finishers and stuff, you know, like in Chicago, and I didn't think I was gonna know anyone there, you know, and there was a lot of South Florida grapplers that were there, you know, or people that knew us, you know, and they gave me the props, you know what I'm saying? Like, for us down here, they know the 305 and 954. I got good jiu-jitsu, you know, everything here in South Florida.
We definitely do, man.
Yeah, so I'm glad, you know, we're getting our name out there. But you're right, it does start with these events, you know, with the White Lion here doing this to make people see, you know, the level of talent that we have. And I think people are starting to know.
Because it's there.
100%.
Yeah. One thing I do enjoy is, like, I guess throughout these 2 years is seeing how far some fighters have came. Yeah, right. Like yourself, you know, I would definitely say yourself, because you started with us since the first event. Yeah. You know, and you competed in, I think it was 10th or 9th with Manny. I think it was 10th, right? Yeah,
because it was just this February. It's February of this year. Yeah, it was 10.
So it was March. So then it was 9. Because we did July and then August. So, like, you've gotten your black belt since then, and your game has changed.
100%.
It really has, and you evolve.
Yeah, I'll say, you know, when I was a brown belt, that competing here was kind of like what I feel kind of spurted, I guess, my trajectory upward. After that, I was invited to Midwest Finishers. I was invited to another promotion for super fights, and I went to Pan Am's Nogi Pans and got third place there. So I feel like that definitely was like the Kickstarter, that I needed to kind of get to where I wanted to get to. And I still haven't gotten to where I want to be, but I thank you. That was a great opportunity.
For sure. Yeah, I haven't gotten to where I want to be either in the promotion.
Always work to be done.
There's always work to be done, you know what I mean, to keep growing and keep doing things a lot better. So it is really nice to see people just grow. Mm-hmm. And some people have outgrown us too. I've met a lot of fighters that started with us and they hit bigger stage now and they'll tell me, they'll be like, hey, I'm too big for white line. I don't know how you want to take that. I honestly don't care. If you feel you're too big for us, that's fine. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? To each their own, but it's nice to see the positive of that is that it is nice to see them start as blue or purple and get their blacks like this, and regardless what they say, we were a part of that journey, you know? So like, that's pretty dope to see. People hitting bigger stages and stuff like that.
I think that'll be another topic. That's a funny one to hear there. I'm too big. I think we ought to be a little more humble around here. All the people listening, but it's still great, good for them. Good for them that they're in better.
Good for them, 100%.
Better places.
That's a whole other topic.
Of course.
Yeah, man, I hear it all as a matchmaker. It's funny.
I can only imagine. I think the only thing that I'd like to say is thank you, obviously, for having me on here, and thank you for everything you've done with White Lion.
Yeah.
When I was doing jiu-jitsu, or even coming up, I don't think that there was really super fights like this going on until maybe 2017, maybe even later than that. We'll put it at 2017 as an even. I started doing jiu-jitsu in 2007. 10 years it took for this kind of super fight thing to kind of be like a normal thing. And when I was doing jiu-jitsu coming up, when I was 2007, 2008, 2009, all the time, in between, there was nothing like this at all.
Yeah.
Much less white belt tournament, much less kids matches on this stage, So I from somebody who's been around a while and who has seen it all, I can say thank you for this and what you've done.
Thanks.
Because these opportunities don't come. It seems like they come very often nowadays. But I think anyone else who's been doing it for a little while would have the same sentiment of, really deep appreciation for what you do, because it's not easy putting on events like this.
Yeah.
It costs money at the end of the day.
Yes.
It's a business, so if it's appreciated, Thank you so much for everything.
I remember when I started as a white belt, I literally was like, I gotta do a promotion. Fuck, these people suck.
It was written. Yeah.
God
right?
damn, and until this day I only like to compete at IBJJF. I know it's funny because the type of event that I do.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I like IBJJF, and I think I just like it so much more because of the structure.
Totally.
And despite what people say that they're stealing money and you're gonna go and spend all this money to get a plastic medal. Have you heard that? When the hell? I've never gotten a plastic medal.
It's been a long time since I've gotten a plastic medal.
I have not. If you have, please DM me.
Let us know where that's at.
Send me a picture.
Yeah, we don't. Cause I'm not gonna believe you.
But you know what I'm talking about? People say that.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, every time I read that, I'm like, man, my Nogi world's medal is like so heavy with a beautiful pin, and like I know it doesn't like weigh out how much money I spend when I'm traveling and stuff like that. Totally. But whatever. Besides the point, I do like the structure of that.
Yeah.
And that was like one thing that I was like, why can't we have something like this in Miami? And this would probably be for another podcast, but I understand the reason why a lot of promotions don't come here. And it's not easy. You know what I mean? So like, and not just doing that actual event, is dealing with certain fighters, schools, or just Miami's just ruthless. You know, like we are.
There's a lot of personalities, to say the least.
With that being said, that's why we're good at this job, because I'm probably the same. I'm probably just as ruthless.
But I think you got, like you said earlier, right?
We try to we care so much, and then I try to like organize it as much as possible. Yeah. And it is a lot of work, but I'm happy to be able to actually give this back and be so consecutive with it, because you could do an event, but like, how long are you gonna do this event? Yeah. So I remember like last year for Nogi Worlds, I saw Boogeyman, who's a personal friend of mine's, and I was like, bro, you saw him doing like a promotion? He's like, I saw that, like whatever. And at that time, we were on number 8, and he's like, how many events have you done? And I'm like, 8, and he bugged out. He was like, what? That's a lot. He was like, yo, that's so. And I thought, I'm like, whatever, bro.
You're just blowing smoke right now.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, you know what I mean? And he was like, no, like, that's a lot of events. Like, hey, like, for real, like, you don't really see, like, promotions doing that many events. Not at all. So I actually, like, I am very hard on myself. So, like, when I hear that and then I saw how honest he was, I was like, maybe I have been to a lot of events.
Of course, like, you only look down the tunnel and you just see how far the light is, and maybe it seems so far, but you don't really look back and be like, damn, I've come down pretty far. Like, I've come down this tunnel pretty far. You've done a lot in this time. And sometimes you do have to stop and kind of like turn around and give yourself your flowers, right? Like,
okay, is this podcast about me or you?
I'm just, but it's the truth, right? Because it all ties back, right? If you're not there to do these kind of things, I don't compete on there. I don't win the first event. People don't look at me a different kind of way. People don't start inviting me places, and that's how it is.
I do feel that, like, that's such a beautiful thing to hear from me. The fact that, like, people actually know who you are. Then they do, and not just you, but like a lot of other people. No, they know who you are. I do feel that. Like, I know that if like you wanted to go to finishers. Have you been to Zach's finishers?
No, I hope to be there soon, though.
Bro, I promise you Zach knows. Shout out to Zach.
Zach, I already mentioned you one time, boy. I give you a free shout out. Get a match, please.
Man.
But shout out to those guys up there.
Shout out to Zach. He's also like a mentor, kind of. Not really. I don't know if that's correct word. But when I started, he was one of the first people that I've spoken to. Did I ever tell you this?
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, about promoting, and he just really opened his doors to me, and like, just like, was like, yo, do your thing, Yeah. So he's a cool guy. Definitely, if you ever get the opportunity to go to finishers up in Pennsylvania. Yeah. And they're great people. And they have a lot of good competitors too. Yeah. Like really good people.
Yeah, everyone from the Northeast and like that kind of like whole area there. I'll even say from Chicago, like, and East is really good for jiu-jitsu. There's actually an ADCC Chicago going on this weekend. That's right. But they have really good talent. I like when I went up for Midwest Finishers and I competed there. I looked like the room was pretty stacked. It was a lot of good good people in there. And it wasn't even from like down south or nothing. It was mainly from like maybe the Northeast Virginia area, a few people from maybe California and stuff. But it was concentrated in the Midwest and the Northeast. There was a lot of good people on there.
Yeah, we should contact Zach because there's a lot of people your size.
Yeah, it's hard.
Whenever you're ready to travel and whatever.
Yeah, for sure. It's just
he does a lot of events too. Yeah,
it's just really hard. Like you said, it's hard to find small guys down here. I don't know why. There's like 3 of us. There's like 3 of us down here, man. Like good small, good 145ers, 135ers.
Who are the 3?
Well, I'm just gonna call myself.
Okay.
I only speak for myself.
I'll call Anthony Molina as the same way. Who's the 3rd guy?
I just tossed the number. I guess people could look around and I guess they could find maybe one more.
I'll have to get my spreadsheet, but I'm sure there's more than 3. I'm sure there's maybe 4.
maybe four, right?
Maybe 4.
Yeah, I definitely say that. Like, I don't like to toot my own horn or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I stay as humble as possible, always. Not even as humble as possible. I just feel like, I just try to compete. I try to go out there and compete and push myself as much as I can. And whatever comes after that comes after that. But my main focus and my main goal is always just to push myself, just to test myself, thank God for the opportunity every time. And everything, the recognition and the people knowing me and the opportunities and all that comes after kind of is secondary. What I'm always just trying to do is better myself on the mats, better myself off the mats, you know, and as a human being, you know, those are the three biggest things I think that I focus on every event. And if I keep I'm gonna keep doing that till I can't no more, you know. Yeah. Till the good Lord says no, you know.
Would you ever open up a gym?
That's on my radar. Yes. I don't you know, I still love competing so much, and teaching does, you know, it's a full-time kind of thing. You have
another
to dedicate.
podcast to actually even discuss on, like, you know, can you be a coach, gym owner, and a competitor, and would you be successful at both?
Yeah, well, there's plenty of people that do both, you know, and that are successful at it, you know. And I've been in a capacity where I am coaching, you know, and having to think of lesson plans and stuff, and having to compete also, you know. I taught at the UFC gym in Kendall for about like a year and a half. So
did you?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know that.
I did. I was the instructor there. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
that was kind of like my first taste in like being a teacher, I guess you could say, and like coming up with lesson plans.
Do any of your students back then still do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I still train. Chase came, you know, from UFC Gym Kendall.
Really? He was your student?
Not student per se, because he started doing jiu-jitsu a little bit after I had left. Okay. But he had jumped into a couple classes here and there while I was there. Another friend of ours, Aaron, was trained there. He was he came to the classes, and I taught him specifically a few times. There's a couple of other people, off the top of my head, I can't really remember the names. Excuse me, guys, but there was still a bunch of people that I still do jiu-jitsu and still train at the UFC Gym Kendall, or had moved on to like other places. And the same kind of passion and dedication that I have towards refereeing, I really tried to do it for them, you know, even though I was just a purple belt at the time, you know, and it was just what people could consider just a UFC Gym Kendall, right? Like, but some others might kind of throw it away, or might be like, this isn't too important, you know, none of these people really are into jiu-jitsu. I went the complete opposite route, and, you know, try to give them 110%, you know, lesson plans, what I wanted to go over, specific things that I saw when they were rolling. And it was practice, but it was also passion. So, you know, I definitely want to open my school.
You would be
and
a great
teach,
instructor.
you know? Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. I hope to one day, you know, it's definitely like a dream up there, right, of mine to do that.
I mean, yeah, you've been doing this for so long. Why not? Why not add it to the list?
Add it to the list.
For sure.
Add it to the list of accomplishments, yeah. Thank you again. I think we are good.
For sure. And well, it's pretty good.
Yeah.